Karen and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, you guys have no idea how happy I am to be back finally after all this time. Today I will be talking about The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Now this is already out in the US, but it's only coming out on the 6th of April here in the UK, and I just can't wait for everybody to have read this and to be able to talk about it because it's pretty amazing. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why you should be reading this book and why pretty much everybody should be reading this book in my opinion. Let's do this. The first thing that I absolutely loved about The Hate You Give are the characters, and more particularly Star, who's the main character of this book. She is so relatable and wonderful, and there's so many things going on in her life, yet she still keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and I just love her determination. Even though she's like scared shitless, she just goes for it, and I admire that so much. You really do root for her and you want her to be okay and to do the right thing and to kind of conquer this massive mountain that's in front of her after her best friend is shot, but it's just done so well, and she's like the ultimate I want to root for you kind of character, which I absolutely love. And apart from Star, I loved all the other characters. Angie Thomas fleshes out her characters so much, and it makes me really relate to them even though their lives are so different from my own. But I'll talk about that a little bit later, but it just makes me really just feel like I'm there, and every single of these characters has their own story going on, whether it's mentioned or whether it's just in the background of the book, but they do, and you just feel that so much. It just makes for a wonderful and compelling read, and as I'm so much of a character kind of person when it comes to my reading, I absolutely love this about the book. A second reason you should be reading The Hate You Give is family. Now Star's family is not the cookie cutter kind of 2 parents, 2.5 children and a white picket fence kind of family. They're not. But what I feel they really are is real and authentic. From their interactions to how Star talks about her parents, about her brothers, it just feels so real and so relatable. I mean, come on, the younger brother. We've all had a younger brother that we absolutely find incredibly annoying, but we still love to death. And it's just little details like that that are dropped in here and there that just makes it... Oh, Angie Thomas, like what is wrong with you, lady? Why are you so good? Please don't stop. Thank you. The other thing that I really loved about the family dynamic is that the parents are there. They're there, they're supportive. I mean, I understand that for a lot of YA storylines, having parents around isn't that helpful. But for this, they were such a focal role in this book, and they were so instrumental in helping and supporting Star. And you know, Star calls them her OTP, so it is so refreshing and so nice to see parents be there and present and just doing the best they can. Like, they're not perfect, they're totally fallible like any other human being would be, but again, that makes them so real and, you know, so relatable and wonderful, really. The third reason you should be reading The Hate You Give is that it is a moving and powerful book. I mean, there are books that move you, and then there are books that shake you to the core. This one is one of the latter. This book made me cry. I mean, literally, I was sniffling multiple times throughout. It made me angry. It made me feel so helpless and powerless, but at the same time inspired and very much kind of ready to take action and go out there and do something and change something in the world. And it also made me realize how bloody privileged I am, being this pale, looking the way I do, being from the background that I am from. Holy guacamole, this book makes you think, and in the very best way. Like, it's not a, oh my god, I hate you because you're privileged, oh my god, because you're this, that, or the other. It's not like that. This is very much of a, this is just our reality. This is just the way it is. And, you know, for me, I love reading and experiencing things I wouldn't be able to experience otherwise. And this is such a prime example of that book. There's no way in hell I could ever live these kind of experiences. So for this book to portray it so honestly and openly is wonderful. It's a wonderful learning experience, and it was definitely a learning experience for me. I think it's definitely a great book to start discussions about privilege and race and, you know, how we judge people, like, on both sides. I think this is definitely one of those books that every single teenager should read, just to, you know, get a bit of empathy. That's one of the things that I find so sorely lacking sometimes nowadays, is just empathy for people who are different, whether that is race, religion, gender, you know, people with disabilities. It's as if all of a sudden you're other and you're not a person anymore. While this book kind of reminds people, yeah, we are all human beings. So for that, I think it's such a great book for teenagers, definitely a great conversation starter, and I just wish that every library and every school would have this. The fourth reason you should be reading The Hate You Give is humour. Yeah, there's some really shitty things that happen in this book. There's some really upsetting and traumatic events in this book, but there's also so much humour, and the way Angie Thomas weaves that into the narrative is just masterful. I have cried a lot in this book, but I've also chuckled very loudly multiple times. I actually finished about, I think it was the last half of the book while I was waiting at the doctor's office, and the people, there were literally 4 or 5 people going like, what book are you reading? I was like, everybody should read this, because it was like, it's making me very angry but also chuckle, you know. There's just so much sass, especially Star and her friends and family. There's just sass and masterful wit like up the wazoo, and it is brilliant, and it's sometimes really unexpected. But I think that's kind of what makes it extra special. Now, the fifth and final reason why you should be reading The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas is authenticity and skill. Now, I mentioned 4 different things, but the way Angie manages to weave everything together in a book that is so cohesive, and it just flows so well. I literally read this in a couple of days. It reads incredibly easily, while still packing such a massive emotional punch. I don't know how she's done it. I really don't, but this book is amazing. Like, from the wonderfully fleshed out characters to just the masterful storytelling. I can't hardly believe this is a debut. Like, seriously, I can't wait for whatever she cooks up next, like, because I will read it. This is gonna be an auto-buy author for me, because I just was like, oh my god. Everything in this book felt so real, and I love that when a book manages me to just kind of suck me into the world and doesn't let go and just tells me the story. And this book did it so amazingly, and I could say a million more things about this book, but I think I'm going to become an incoherent mess very soon. So all I'm going to say to you is, if you haven't read this yet, or it was not on your TBR yet, put it there, put it on the top of the pile. Seriously, I highly recommend it. This is probably my favourite book of 2017 I've read so far, and it probably will stay very high on the list. I know I'm a major fantasy lover and this is a contemporary, but seriously, this is going to be in my top 10 of this year. I can just tell. I think this is going to be one of those books that will define this decade in YA, and I'm very much okay with that. So there you have it, guys. That's it for today. Do let me know down below in the comments if you've read The Hate You Give. What did you think? What do you want to see next from Angie Thomas? I am hopefully going to be meeting her sometime this month when she comes to the UK. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to yet, but oh my god, I do feel like maybe it might be better not to meet her, because I'll just be like, oh my god, you're brilliant! Maybe not the best way to approach an author. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye.